Hi everyone, our next card in the Major Arcana, number 16, the Roman numeral 16, is the Tower. So the Tower is a really, really fascinating card. And I want you to take a close look at this. Now, you see here how you have like the tower building itself, and then like there's a fire going on, it's erupting out of the top, and a few people are falling from the tower. There's thunder going on here, which, you know, kind of struck the tower and made the fire start. So keeping that in mind, I mean, this can be more of an interpretation of a catastrophe coming up in somebody's life. Now, it doesn't have to, you know, be a huge catastrophe, but this could be like a person finding out their relationship was not what it was, or they could be finding out that they didn't get that promotion that they thought they would, or they could be finding out that there's going to be layoffs coming up soon and they are going to be one of the people laid off. There's like myriad types of catastrophes or unfortunate circumstances that this could relate to. Now, also keeping in mind, it could be just more of a, like, you know, something to do with your thoughts. Like, say for instance, you pulled this and you were having a tough time in your relationship, or the person that you were reading for was having a tough time in their relationship and they had just found out something that was kind of like earth shaking. Maybe they found out that their partner, you know, their partner had lost their job, but they didn't know that yet. Or their partner was actually cheating on them. So there's infidelity going on in the relationship, and that just kind of, you know, blew their minds, so to speak. They just couldn't believe it. But that was a catastrophe that had come up and kind of, you know, shook their perception of circumstances or what the relationship really was. And what the Tower does also is not only does it shake up a person's perception, but then it kind of brings them back to base one or ground zero of, you know, how to approach the relationship after that, or how to approach that circumstance after that. You know, it just basically shakes things up. And a lot of people tend to think, oh, negative, this is so negative. And it can be a very negative card, but at the same time, you know, believe me, you know, going on, let's talk about a romantic relationship. Now, let's say somebody's involved in a romantic relationship, but then they find out that their partner is cheating, and the Tower card pops up, therefore, or it's about to in their future. So in that case, isn't it better to know the truth and to start back at ground zero or base one versus just kind of going on and, you know, in an illusion and not really knowing the truth, and then, you know, being at risk for certain behaviors, or other things in that relationship because you didn't want to pay attention to what was really going on. And the Tower, you know, says, hey, you know, I'm going to shake up your world. I'm going to make you see the truth. And that way, you know, you can move forward from that space, from a real honest space instead of a space of illusion. So this is what the Tower does. Now, you know, keep in mind, it can also signify a big argument between, you know, two people, you know, just, and it could, you know, signify like other minor catastrophes, like, you know, maybe the plumbing just suddenly had, you know, a huge issue at your house, or your house actually had, you know, and this is where you take it literally, you know, your house had issues like within the structure, you know, or something like that, you know, but we've had people like, you know, have this card pop up before, like a big, huge plumbing issue started, or a big thunderstorm started and affected their house and struck their house. So this can be taken literally in certain aspects, but most of the time I find it to mean more in the mind, or what's going on in a relationship or at a job or at a career or with a friend. That's where the Tower card usually pops up. So anyway, I thank you everybody for listening to this. If you like to hear more of these tarot tutorials, please feel free to follow me. And pretty soon I will be putting out another tarot video on the next Roman numeral 17 card in the tarot deck, which is the Star, a very hopeful card. All right, everybody, have a great day. Take care.